Radio Network is live. This is the Omaha Supernovas pregame show brought to you by Mullen Motors.
Season 1, episode 11. This is the third meeting matchup of the Atlanta Vibe and the Omaha Supernovas. I'm DP. Next to me, Coach Renee Saunders, Enrique Alvarez, Clary, Harrison Arns will carry you through tonight's matchup here at CHI Health Center, Omaha, Nebraska, here on the Supernovas Radio Network, powered by the folks from 93.7 The Ticket, KNTK FM, Lincoln, Nebraska. Lots to talk about. Bill talked about the two leading teams, the two teams at the top of the Pro Volleyball Federation. And Coach Saunders, let's talk about this federation as it stands. Both teams tonight sitting at 7-3. Let's go through what's happened, because getting here at 7-3 is one thing. To kind of show where the rest of the league stands, break down for our listeners the next five teams. We know we're going to talk plenty about Atlanta and Omaha tonight. Let's talk about the other five teams in the federation, if you would, please. Let's start with the Columbus Fury.
Columbus Fury's coming in at 500, 4-4. They were on a nice little winning streak. They won like 3 in a row. I think then they won one, they lost one, now they've lost their last two. Interesting trade happened yesterday. Dilfer Stringer from Atlanta got traded to Columbus. So that was interesting. Then after that, Grand Rapids Rise, another 500 team at 4-4. They've won one. I think they've been dealing with some injuries. Mm-hmm. Then you have Vegas Thrill, 4-7. They've been playing without McCage and Maddox. And if you've seen Vegas play, McCage and Maddox are really, really good. But McCage and Maddox are both active now, so they'll have them back. And then at the bottom of the heap is San Diego Mojo at 2-6. They had the big win against Grand Rapids right at the beginning when Grand Rapids was number one, knocked Grand Rapids off, got their first win, and then I don't remember who they beat the second time.
I believe it's Grand Rapids twice. No,
Is it? Or did they beat
Columbus.
They beat Columbus. They gave them one of their losses after they won the win streak. But the funny part is, if you go to Atlanta Vibe's website, it says they're number one. If you go to our website, it says we're number one. I think we won the most recent matchup, so technically
those are the rules. Recent competition overrides balance of schedule and other. And oddly enough, they get to resolve it tonight, and one team will walk out of here sitting alone at the top of the Pro Volleyball Federation.
And we got front row seats for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting here trying to stay balanced and not overhype it, but internally, butterflies and all the cool things, right? Dwayne The Rock Johnson likes to smack his arm and talk about goosebumps. And when you watch teams prepare and you understand that what this federation predicted in advance, that there would be parity, there would be balance on any given night. Any team could beat any of the other teams, and the level of talent from top to bottom is exactly what we thought it was. It's balanced, it's deep. Tonight we get to see the top two teams, and in a building that I think is going to show up for it.
It's Pi Day.
Yeah, we set up some additional tickets at the top of the building that could be acquired for $3.14 plus tax and fees. So I would imagine that the upper bowl will look a little different than it has in previous outings. But this is a situation where Omaha comes in on a roll. Atlanta feels like it's in a pretty good spot. I was watching their movement before the match and watching them to kind of move around. And they've got a little extra bounce in them as well. And there's a little, I don't want to call it angst, but there's a little vinegar in it that they need to get right with themselves when it comes to the Omaha Supernovas. Let's go back to the last meeting in Atlanta, a 3-1 Omaha win.
No, it's sweep.
Well, that was the 3. Well, that was the sweep.
We swept them.
That was the sweep.
That's why they had that little extra
Well,
bounce their
what?
step.
How do you bounce back from that, Coach? Not that you've ever been swept. I can't imagine.
Oh no, I've been swept. I've
That-
been swept plenty of times.
That in recent history that
I've been
you've
swept
been on
plenty
the
of
other
times.
you've been on the other end of not being swept. I think that's pretty special.
What's the rubber match for these right now?
So what's the word? What is Coach Bird using? Is it just another night, which is what she used when we headed to Atlanta? It's just another match, or it's Atlanta saying, you know what, they swept us last time, or that we'll wipe all of that clean and we get a chance to reset the whole season by winning tonight. What's the coaching code that's going to be in play tonight?
To me, we're almost to that point where every match matters. So every game's a big game. I mean, obviously, like our two teams have a little bit more wiggle room in terms of, we're four games above 500, and then the third and fourth teams are at 500. So we have a little bit of wiggle room but that doesn't mean that you can't compete. And I think we're trying to go 3-1 against some of these better teams. So for us, I think it's critical we beat Atlanta at home, because we didn't beat them at home the first time. We lost in 5, 15-13, fantastic match. Mm-hmm. Then we go to Atlanta. Bolt 6 goes down. There's no challenges. It was the most chaotic game I think I've ever watched in terms of like drama. And I saw a different Supernova team showed up that was like, hey, we're angry, but we're going to direct it all at you guys. And as soon as they did that, and they literally rallied their strength, it was like putting their lightsabers together. They figured it out. And so I think as for Atlanta, you're trying to avenge the sweep in Atlanta. If it's the Supernovas, you're trying to win at home for your home fans, because you've been winning on the road, right? 5-1, I believe, on the road. Is that correct?
That's a crazy number.
Yeah, 5-1 on the road.
That's a crazy number.
And Atlanta's 4-1 on the road. So we're looking at two teams that are kind of like road warriors. So we're going to see what happens. I think the first time we played Atlanta, the first and second set, I literally felt like we kind of gave it away. Drop balls, communication errors, all the things that as a coach are frustrating because they're controllable. Mm-hmm. Against Atlanta, Bolt 6 goes down. There's no challenge. Obviously, a lot of control the controllables happening, and it was in our favor.
Line judges pulled from the crowd.
Pulled from. Well, I mean, they weren't like just pulled from the crowd, like, "Hey, you," but I mean, they had some volleyball background.
Well, one of them said literally they took the beer out of his hand. And put it.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah. Yeah, they pulled the beer out of his hand.
That's
and
awesome.
Put him down on the floor.
What could go wrong?
Yeah, I think it's fascinating. That's a big part of this as well, is that we're still trying to paint the picture of what is Pro Volleyball Federation volleyball. What does it mean? What's it supposed to look like? What's the standard that's being set? And I think both of these teams tonight have kind of taken it on their back and on their shoulders to be the representation for the best of this league. So tonight is a statement. It is a big statement. If you're Atlanta's coach, what are you saying to the Vibe heading into tonight's matchup?
I think it's a revenge match for them. Like, that wasn't us in Atlanta. We shouldn't be swept by any team. And so I think it's going to be like, hey, you need to come out and you need to prove who we are. So maybe like refinding their identity a little bit, because they've won 3 games since that loss. So, I mean, I think that's how he's going to try to motivate them, is that way of like make them think back and how, I mean, their serve and pass wasn't very good. We aced them off the floor. I mean, it seemed like nothing could go right for them. And I think they're going to try to prove that wasn't them. They're going to reestablish identity versus us.
Another thing that's happening is as the league picks up momentum and visibility, that other teams and other fans are starting to pay attention to Omaha and Atlanta as the targets for what they can wish for and hope for. What is it about these two teams that make them better than the rest of the league so far?
I don't know if you can really say things have been working out better for them. Okay. I think at any given day, anybody can beat anybody in this league. Atlanta has a little bit more youth. We're a little bit more veteran. We have a great team with a great group of players. They have a great team with a great group of players. We have a very qualified, great coaching staff. They have a very qualified, great coaching staff. So I think at this point of the game, I think it comes down to managing injuries, managing rest, managing travel, just all the things outside of it and making sure that when it's game day, you're 100% all the way from your first player to your last player. Difference between the Novas versus the Vibe, I feel like our bench is deeper, which has really helped us out in a lot of matches. Being able to go down literally and play every single player on our roster and come away with a win. I don't know if there's another team in the league that can say that they could play their whole roster and still win a match. And I think that Bird's trust in our bench has increased as the season has gone on. And the bench's trust in her has increased as the season has gone on. I don't see that same trust in other teams' eyes.
Yeah.
Like the whole vibe of other teams. Like literally, the vibe in Atlanta was not good. And it showed, and it kind of compounded. It was kind of like a snowball effect. So it would be interesting to see what happens tonight. You know, new game, new situation, new venue. See what happens.
Yeah, I mean, through all of it, we've tried to maintain clear vision and not to go too far back. But I think in revisiting the previous matchups between these two teams in this building and then down in Atlanta, it gives us some picture for what we can expect tonight. And some of the role players have changed. There have been some roster changes for good reasons and not good reasons. We will talk about these rosters. We'll go through the sake of Atlanta and some of the changes on their roster, Omaha and some changes on theirs. We will do all of that when we come back to the Supernovas Radio Network pre-match show, Omaha, Nebraska, 93.7 The Ticket.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Forget the lame excuse this year. Your boss already knows why you can't make it to work for those magical 2 days in mid-March. Join 93.7 The Ticket on Thursday and Friday, March 21st and 22nd at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O for March Mayhem. Come early on Thursday and get a ping pong ball with a lucky team on it. And stay all day for prizes throughout and buzzer beater upsets. It's March Mayhem with 93.7 The Ticket for the NCAA tournament at Buffalo Wings and Rings, 68th and O.
Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with only 4 Lincoln locations. Guess what?
What?
There's 5 Lincoln locations now. Oh my gosh. That's 25% more Lincoln locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? Feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11th, located right alongside 93.7 The Ticket Studios, 1040 O Street.
The Supernovas Radio Network is live. This is the Omaha Supernovas pregame show brought to you by Mullen Motors.
CHI Health Center, Omaha, Nebraska, Supernovas Radio Network, powered by 93.7 The Ticket in Lincoln, Nebraska. DP Coach Renee Saunders and Enrique Alvarez. Carrie Pendraz is back there running things now. Big Ben's back there running it, keeping us on time. Coach, okay, so let's start with Atlanta And what we knew to be true before, the group that we had seen, and there have been some changes to the roster, notably Tori Dilfer-Stringer no longer with the Vibe.
Yeah, that was kind of a big groundbreaking thing last night. She got traded to Columbus, and then they activated Whitney Bauer, BYU setter, to their active roster. She had been a practice player.
Well, Whitney, I'm familiar enough with Whitney because Whitney was a bit of a force in that space. A popular player, a fan favorite wherever she's been and whoever she's played with. I know the folks in Provo, Utah, they just rave about her. As a matter of fact, when the change was made, my phone lit up, and it's like, oh, you get to call Whitney. So she's a spark plug. She is a finite player in that she will do anything and everything in this space. They fully expect that from her. The loss of Dilfer-Stringer, because I thought she was a force, but we hear things and we have to have that conversation that sometimes from a chemistry standpoint, it just doesn't work. And that doesn't mean that they're lesser players. It just means for your situation and circumstance, you make changes. As a coach, whether it's just down the bench, whether it's trying to build your roster, you look at chemistry, and it's a big part of it. Why so?
There's something about playing for the person next to you. And if you don't trust them or believe in them or know that they've done the work or that they're going to lay out for you. I mean, I have not talked to Tori Dilfer-Stringer, so I can't speak to if this is even a thing with them, but chemistry in general is formed by taking risk for your teammates, showing your teammates that you are willing to lay it on the line for them. Now, she might do that, right? But there's two parts to it. Chemistry is also connection. Okay, and so there's connection made between passers like seams. I trust you that you have that ball. You trust me that I have this ball, and we're both going to do our jobs, and everything's going to be like hunky-dory. Okay, and it doesn't always go that way, but as the season goes on, and this is something I think these two teams, why they're 7-3, their chemistry has been better than some of these other teams. Whether that's the training, the playing together, whatever it might be, that has actually brought them together and made them 7-3 at this moment in time, where other, the next best teams are only 500. But, chemistry is a really important thing, and you can try to force it and you can try to build it, but the best way is to let it happen organically. You don't have to be best friends with everybody on your team, but it helps if you get along with each other, and that they know they can trust you, that you're going to do your job, that you're going to work hard, you're going to do what's best for the team. All those things come into play when you get in that 900 square feet right there. Another change in the roster was somebody that had some serious impact, especially matchup one. Allie Linehan is no longer with Atlanta, and I found this to be interesting because I thought she was going to be part of the motor that makes this thing go. What's her removal from the roster? What's that do to this Atlanta team? Well, she's on short-term injury reserve, so my guess is she'll be back. It's going to be a matter of when she comes back. This is well. Do we know what it is? No, and I'm looking at her to see if she has anything. It could be a back, it could be an ab, it could be it's a left leg injury. So short-term IR. That's why they make match notes so that we can read them. This is why we pay. But she started in Atlanta, but then they've been starting her and then going to Member Monet, and so it's kind of like we have kind of our starters, then we have our great bench players that can come in. I feel like Linehan was a starter. She was the player of the week, the first player of the week for the PBF, and probably because she had a fantastic performance against us in week 1. But Member Monet's been playing pretty big time for 5'7", and she's a stud. So it's one of those things where Linehan hurts not having her. I think she's a great leader on the floor. But if she's injured, they have a great backup. Yeah, I thought from a depth, you talked about that you could accept that Omaha has a deeper bench. Losing Linehan, making the change from Stringer to Bauer, that should affect the depth. Is that a statement of truth? Do you expect Atlanta's depth to be changed, or is it just different? Well, I mean, they activated Reagan Pittman off of, she was on the short-term IR. She's now active. She did some really good things when we've seen her play. So I don't think it may hurt them a little bit. Bauer doesn't have a lot of PVF pro experience, right? Like she hasn't set in any of these matches. But I'm guessing if she's a spark plug and you've heard these great things, she's one of those big players that make big plays and big moments. So that probably won't, the bottom line is Leah Edmond, this team goes as Leah goes. Karis Watson is probably not going to start tonight. We're going to see Magda Yala Shuva.
That's going to be so good. That's going to be so good tonight.
I might have to say her name 25 times before the game starts.
That's going to be exceptional.
But that'll be our first time seeing her as well, and then Pittman would be able to back her up. So with Fanning. So Watson now isn't on the bench. I thought Watson has done a good job against Omaha. Aussie Presley we haven't seen really a whole lot. She might get some time in. I think my guess is that they're not going to be afraid to go to the bench if they need to go to the bench.
Yeah, I checking out the movement and the space. And again, coming off, as you said, a sweep. There's a lot of things that need to be in play. What does Atlanta need to do differently than they did in Atlanta specifically? Give us one thing that, you expect. They played down in Atlanta and you expect them to play up in it tonight.
Their serve receive was not good. And that's the bottom line. They could never get going because they were getting ace so much. And I've honestly probably, by the time we come back after break, I'm going to find out how many service aces we had against them, or even like what their pass percentages were, because I felt like they were never in system. They were constantly like chasing balls into the bleachers, into the score table, just trying to get the balls in play and then sending us free balls. If they can pass tonight, they'll be a different team than what we faced in Atlanta.
Also not on the floor tonight, Danielle Hart. That is a thing. She was a big player in match one. What does that mean for Omaha?
Well, I think this is our third or fourth match without her on the active roster. So we're looking for Tori Dixon and Hristina Vuchkova to really pick up, which they have. They've done a fantastic job. And then we've got Sophie Davis. As activated from our practice roster to our active roster, which we haven't seen her in game play yet, but I know Bird said that she's done a really good job in practices.
There's going to be another member of the Supernovas roster that will not play tonight, and it's quite the story. I do want to spend some time talking about Gina Mancuso-Peroski when we come back to the Supernovas pre-match show here on the Supernovas Radio Network.
Although we can't control the air we breathe outside our home, we can make a healthy difference inside, and all it takes is a call to Bryant. With healthy air options, Bryant can help you eliminate allergens, odors, and harmful chemicals, all while controlling indoor humidity levels at the same time. If it's time for a breath of fresh air inside, it's time to call Bryant. Breathe easy, breathe healthy. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. We do whatever it takes.
Nutrition Authority invites you to try Anarchy, which is an exciting free workout for athletes and fitness enthusiasts who want the most out of their workout. Anarchy can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Remember, when you want results, the solution is simple. Nutrition Authority. Stop in, call, or check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Whether you're just starting your journey together or celebrating years of cherished memories, there's no better way to mark your love story than with fine jewelry. Join us at the Wedding Band Expo this weekend at Sartor Heyman Jewelers at South Point Pavilions. Enjoy an incredible 20% off all wedding and anniversary bands, anything bridal related. Don't miss this opportunity to find the ring of your dreams at a price you'll adore. Sartor Heyman Jewelry's Wedding Band Expo, this weekend, South Point Pavilions.
24/7 threat monitoring, expert tech support, streamlined communications. Allo has a solution for that. Protect your business with Allo Business. Comprehensive firewall security, Microsoft Teams voice-integrated communications, cybersecurity and IT support managed by experts. From productivity to peace of mind, Allo has a solution for that. Allo means business. Protect your business by visiting allofiber.com/business.
Spring often marks the beginning of severe weather, which can lead to power outages. LES wants you to be prepared before the storm. Restock your emergency kit, update your info with LES, and if you encounter an outage, report it at les.com/report.
The Supernovas Radio Network is live. This is the Omaha Supernovas pregame show brought to you by Mullen Motors.
Omaha, Nebraska, CHI Health Center. And it is match number 3 between the Atlanta Vibe and the Omaha Supernovas. DP Coach Renee Saunders next to me. And Coach, not to bury the lead, but a pretty big story, a pretty cool story about a member of the Supernovas roster and a franchise player. I'll ask you what that story says and what that story means to you with Gina Mankorowski.
Well, I mean, I feel like I've known Gina, like watched her play, saw her kind of grow up in high school and then in college. And then, she kind of came back, coached with UNO. I was actually at the practice where it was kind of like accidentally slipped, like in January.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I did not want to be the person to let that cat out of the bag. So I was like tight-lipped, didn't even tell my parents. Like my mouth was sealed until I went to a practice later. And it was basically the day after she saw her doctor. And basically the doctor said, hey, we need to pull the plug on this. Like everything's looking really good, because she wasn't practicing. Yeah. And so I'm like, you okay? And she's like, actually, she goes, I'm pregnant, right? And I'm like, yes, Gina, I was there when it was accidentally announced. And I was the only outsider there, so I had to make sure I didn't say anything. But then she had mentioned that she had miscarried prior, and so they're being cautious. She did not tell me, like, watching that video, like, I thought it was going to be this short, hey, I'm pregnant, we're being cautious because of this. I didn't know all the other stuff.
Right.
What an emotional journey and what a miracle, right? Like, God's good, and sometimes, good things happen to good people, and I think Gina's one of the best. And so I'm super excited for her and her little family. And I think it's very respectable that she shared that with everybody, because it's a big difference when, there's obviously being pregnant, having a child is super exciting anyway. But when really the odds were against you, it's a little bit more special, and it wasn't like it was intentional. It literally, they weren't doing anything they were doing before. And then crazy things happen. So I'm super excited for Gina, and I think the team is super excited. And just watching that whole video, and then like on Instagram, seeing like the players' responses to it and sharing it, they're so excited and so proud. So like he or she is gonna be surrounded by a whole team and a whole city that's cheering for him to be probably the best little supernova we've got.
Through all of this, like, it's a big deal that Gina was chosen as the franchise player, which is a statement. What does it mean when an organization chooses its franchise player? What would you be looking for?
I think looking for someone who is local, like Nadi is our other franchise player. We have 2, and I want someone who's personable, good-hearted, smiles on their faces, people's people, right? Like, do you know how many times they had to go to Hy-Vee and talk to people, meet people, to go to baseball games, to go to this, to go to that? They were all over Omaha. I don't know how many times I pop in the Papillion Hy-Vee and the Supernovas were setting up the table. And this is before, they weren't there yet. And obviously I hadn't talked or met anybody really at all, but it was like every weekend they were somewhere. They were doing events at bars and restaurants, and you want the face of the organization to be someone that people can relate to, but also a familiar name that people know. And the Mancuso name is huge in this state. It's just a very athletic family. Gina's the youngest, but her Husker career, like they're going to cheer for the hometown kid, So I think she was the perfect choice for our franchise player. I think she's still the perfect choice for our franchise player, and I think she's going to continue to grow it. Continue to grow our people, grow our love and grow our surrounding, and and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun seeing her go through this process.
She talked about the thing about being a hometown kid. And then the other part where now there are young ladies from Omaha who now get to see and recognize themselves in professional volleyball players. How big is that? As a high school coach here in Omaha, how big is it for your players, the players that will come to your camp, the players that you play against, and the coaches that you coach against, to be able to see, enable, and kind of elevate young people to this thing that is pro volleyball?
I've been saying since day one that I never thought I'd see professional women's volleyball taking place right here in Omaha, Nebraska. And Omaha has absolutely embraced it, supported it, loved it. I think they love the Supernovas, and they love everything the organization stands for. And it's awesome to see kids have something to aspire to other than college and the Olympics. Because really that's all as a young lady you have volleyball-wise, maybe overseas, but most of our kids are just trying to get into college. And then after that, maybe a chance on the national team, and if they're lucky after college, maybe an opportunity to play overseas. But now to be able to play in your home country with your friends, it's a pretty cool experience.
Did you ever experience the level beyond college where you played international or you played select? What was your post Nebraska journey?
Coaching.
Yeah, straight into it.
Yep, I ended up actually medically hardshipping.
Okay.
So I didn't finish year 4 of volleyball or basketball. So my career ended with a second broken foot, and that was the end of that. So I kind of dove straight into coaching at Lincoln East with Myron Olerking as just an assistant, just helping out, and I fell in love with it. I loved being in the gym with the high school age kids who wanted to learn. And at the time I was, a Husker, fresh out of being a Husker. So they thought you were really cool too, so that was kind of fun, but
they were right. Yeah.
But it's one of those things when you're younger, you can relate to them a little bit more, and Myron was older, but he was a fantastic coach. Like I couldn't ask for a better person to learn the game from than Myron Olerking. So, and then I got to work with Sandy Gingrich for 1 year too, before I came to Omaha and became the head coach at Omaha South. So I was blessed with really great coaches as mentors at the high school level before I got into high school coaching. But I think I helped also create like that connection, the youth. Like I have coaches on my staff that are young because they provide that youth, because I feel like that's just as important as the knowledge of the experienced person. So if you can have that balance between them, lots of good things can happen. But yeah, so I fell into the coaching. I never even thought about playing overseas. It wasn't even a glimpse on my radar.
But why, in choosing to coach, there has to be a thing. There has to be a button that gets hit, right? That turns it on. You go, yeah, instead of going into another thing, I want to coach. That's not everybody's choice. Why did you want to coach?
I love seeing progress, and I love seeing people overcome challenges that they don't think they can. So whether it's hitting against the big block, they think they can't. My favorite is someone tells me they can't. I'm like, come here, let's show you how you can, and then we're going to do it. And so can't is a word that's not really in my vocabulary, and it's not in my players' vocabulary. If kids say it at camp, we have a little conversation about it, but it is one of those things where like anything is possible. Like we're trying to break barriers. We're trying to break the ceiling of your own limitations. We're not trying to, my goal is not to make you an all-state player. My goal is to make you the best player you can be. Yeah. And if that happens to be that you end up all-state because of it, awesome. But really, I just want you to walk out of the program with a new sense of like empowerment. And that's the bottom line.
I want to just remind folks, again, the pre-match show available on YouTube, available on the app. But if you want to follow us during the match, download the Ticket app. Download the Ticket app.
Good catch, Coach. Good catch.
Yeah. Download the Supernovas app. Track us there, and then meet us back here for the post-match show. I'm DP Coach Renee Saunders. We'll go to break. When we come back, we're going to talk about these lineups. We'll start with the Atlanta Vibe. We'll talk about that here on the Supernovas Radio Network.
It's getting nicer outside, but it's still hit or miss in the spring on golf weather. Not at Double Eagle Golf. You're home for always 72-degree weather and no wind. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues are underway, but stay tuned for info on indoor golf tournaments and book your bay for the Masters in April. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
The Planet Fitness Black Card is packed with perks, not like other gyms.
Hi, can I bring a friend to work out? Oh, okay. Is my membership good at other locations? Okay. Do you have any other amenities?
But at Planet Fitness, the PF Black Card gets you tons of perks. Bring a friend for free anytime. Access to any of our 2,500 plus locations. Relax in the hydro massage and so much more. Join for just $1 down, $24.99 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends March 15th. See Home Club for details.
Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Spring is a time of new beginnings and trying new things. If you haven't tried Fuhrer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For parties for St. Patrick's Day and Easter, or celebrating the NCAA tournament with friends, there's no better dip to bring everyone together and celebrate something from Nebraska. Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Fuhrer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
The Supernovas Radio Network is live. This is the Omaha Supernovas pregame show brought to you by Mullen Motors.
Match number 3 of the season between the Vibe and the Supernovas. I'm CP Coach Renee Saunders. And on the side of the net that sits in front of us, they've got the red. They've got the, they're dressed tonight. The Vibe come into this thing at 7-3 familiar. Let's go through what we project the starting lineup to be for the Atlanta Vibe.
Outside hitters, their workhorse, Leah Edmond, she leads them with 198 points. Just like not even close anywhere else. Opposite of her is going to be Lecator member Monet out of Pitt. She's a little pistol, 5'7", kind of similar to Jill Gillen at Orlando, just goes up and bangs. I remember watching her in the Final Four, and she's just fun to watch play.
She's having a good time even in the pass serve. Like that to me is an indicator.
Good vibes,
right?
All the way across the board. Definitely good vibes, but yet super focused. Like she was the one that came out of the locker room after set 2 that looked like she was ready to throw daggers through someone with her eyes.
Yeah, we're going to change things, and it starts with me.
Yep, and I like those players. I love the little players that play really big, and that's member Monet for sure.
Bouncy.
I think we're going to see Marley Monserrat at setter, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Whitney Bauer come in a little bit off the bench. Morgan Hentz at libero. Match 1, she was lights out. Match 2, not as much of a difference maker. We didn't hit everything cross court at her. We made everybody else play a little bit of difference. Our last match in Atlanta, we got our first look at Anna Lazareva, and she is legit. She can hit. She can block. Doesn't have a ton of points yet, but she came in kind of late. But she already has 96 points for the matches that she's played.
She's electric.
I really enjoy watching her play.
Yeah, she's electric. And I wanted to be specific that this front line tonight is as good as there is in the league. And it's important to state that because this is going to be a war zone tonight.
Well, anybody that was at match 1 knows, and I think, this could be another match 1 matchup because I feel like there's a lot on the line. Middles, Karis Watson had been starting in the middle. I think we're going to see Shelly Fanning in the middle. And then Magda Yalahashuva. Was I closer?
This is how it's, and this is what's funny, right? So they give you pronunciation.
And I still tongue-tied
Yalahashava.
Yalahashava. Yalahashava.
So that's how we're going to get down to listen.
Reading, it's not for everyone.
And I'll screw up Magdalena. I'll screw it up to get to the other part. Like that's just how it's going to be. We're going to.
Okay, good. I'll say Magda, and then you fill in the blank. It's like he says super, everybody says Nova. You say, I say Magda, you say
Yalahashava.
There we go. We got this. No problem.
Look, we're letting them know in advance. Listen, I'm thrilled the fact that we were getting Lazareva correct.
I was pretty stoked about that too.
Right, like we were actually in the neighborhood of getting it right, and then you go, okay, cool. And then I was corrected in the last match in Atlanta because they said you never say Leketor's name. Remember Monet? And they said no, it's Leketor. Remember Monet? So.
Electric member Monet.
Right? Like, I'm like, wait a minute. Here's the thing. We're Omaha focused, but I want to be proper in it. But the folks from Atlanta, I had a couple of folks who were there, and they're like, hey, bro, say her first name. Say her first name. So there you have it. We got it done. Let's talk about the Atlanta coaching staff, kind of style and culture.
Well, Todd Dejanay came from University of Central Florida. He actually retired there. And then Atlanta called him up, got the job with the Vibe, took with him as main assistant Brian, and then Sally is the other assistant. I honestly don't know either of them very well. Their website doesn't give a ton of information, but I do know Brian came with him from UCF.
Well, Hamas. I had to work on that last name as well.
I leave those for you. I know what I know, and I know what I don't know.
Hey, listen, this is why it's a team and how you get through it. Let's talk about keys for Atlanta. Give me 3 keys for Atlanta, things that will be set in the locker room that will take them ready and get them ready for first serve.
They're going to need to pass the ball. Last time we played them, they passed only 16% perfect. We passed like 38% perfect. We aced them 7 times. So it's going to be for them. It's going to be first contact. For us, it's going to be first contact. So they need to service aggressive so we're not passing so well, and they need to pass the ball where their setter can run their middles. We haven't seen Magda play, so I'm excited to see her play. I've heard that she's very good, but I haven't really watched her yet. So I think the ability to set their middle is going to be really important, and Leah Edmond has to go off for them. That's going to be my number 3. So number 1, serve and pass. Number 2, establish your middle. And number 3, if Leah Edmond plays well, Atlanta can win this match.
Yeah, I still have a little trauma from watching Leah Edmond in match 1.
She's so good.
Because you kept thinking, get to the right place, get to the right spot on the floor, get to the right spot of the net, hand placement, eyes in the right place, make good decisions, and it didn't matter. She was just that good in match 1. Match 2, they seemed to get her off her spot a little bit and could change her where she was placing shots. Can you replicate that?
I think so. I think the Supernovas have to win the serve and pass battle as well. Like, that's going to be the key for both teams. If the Novas do what they did in Atlanta, mix them short deep, mess with the seams, get them second guessing a little bit, that's going to get the hitters out of the rhythm. Get the hitters out of the rhythm, you're going to have a lot better opportunity to be successful.
Through all of this, then we talk about the part of the game that sometimes gets lost. The bench play and then shutting off runs. For Atlanta, keys. Who's coming off the bench to give them that extra spark? Where do you expect to see it?
I mean, we're going to see Hiapo for sure. She's going to be coming in serving some balls. Casey Evans, when she's come in on the right side, has made a difference for them against us. She's a great player. Grace Cleveland did well against us. Yossi Presley did well. And then who knows, we might see Whitney Bauer also come in off the bench, or Reagan Pittman now that she's active on the active roster.
Yeah, it looks like in watching them warm up, you kind of get the impression that people are preparing. And I think it's an important thing because we watch Omaha. We watch Coach Bird. It went dark in the room.
It's like half dark.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out to make
There's
sure.
full dark.
There we go. they gave me a little sign that they were gonna do what they did. So it's dark in the building as they start to show some video in the building. Atlanta and Omaha are both off the floor, and as we prepare for it, we'll set you up. Again, a reminder that the pregame show is available on all outlets for the actual call of the match. Download the Ticket app, download the Supernovas app so you can get it. It's available on the Ticket FM as well, so you can do that. You can go to supernovas.com and get this call. It is a busy night in Omaha, Nebraska, because they know that the two top teams from the Real Pro Volleyball Federation, they're having at it tonight. So we'll throw the break. Coach, when we come back, we'll talk about the starting lineup for the Supernovas, how we think it'll play out. We'll talk about the bench, and then we'll get your keys of the game for the Supernovas as they prepare to take on the Atlanta Vibe. I'm DP Coach Renee Saunders, Supernovas Radio Network.
Ironhide Construction is hiring. They're looking for hardworking, self-motivated individuals who are team players. Ironhide Construction has openings for an experienced project manager, estimator, apprentice, skilled laborer, and erector or installer. They will train the right people and make sure you understand the position and requirements. At Ironhide Construction, it's own it, be honest, and do it right. Apply today and learn more about their other benefits at ironhideconstruction.com, where they're committed to you every step of the way.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up.
Hold up, the new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh yeah, this is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Reading may be the most valuable skill your child will ever learn. And research proves that when children read outside the classroom, they do much better in school. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. It's easy to picture yourself reading with a young child curled up in your lap, but don't forget about your older children. They also need encouragement to read. So set aside some time to read together and help your child achieve and succeed.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska, or online in your own home. Learn to ride a motorcycle, how to start a small business, how to dance, or take a course to advance in your current career path. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
The Supernovas Radio Network is live. This is the Omaha Supernovas pregame show brought to you by Mullen Motors.
It is a pretty sweet light show.
Yeah, it's good. It's good energy in CHI Health Center. Yeah, there are more folks upstairs. The reasonable ticket prices upstairs. You actually got people up there tonight, so that's getting and folks still filing in. We're expecting some celebrities tonight. Of course, behind us, the Jet, Johnny the Jet Rogers is here. We're expecting Anthony Lionheart-Smith from UFC and ESPN. He's going to come in. And D-Wayne is out here hyping the crowd, flexing his arms like nobody's business. Like, oh, my goodness, bro, put him away, as Coach Saunders says. Tickets to the gun show, please.
Free tickets with your Supernova ticket.
Hey, you get extra show. You get extra show. You didn't have to pay extra for the guns. That's the thing. Coach, let's set the table for the Supernovas. Let's start with this fantastic depth and the bench that's in play. Let's go to the players that we need to pay attention to who have shown the way that they can come off the bench and impact matches for Coach Bird.
One of my questions to Coach Bird today was, who impressed you the most at practice this week? And she said Paige Briggs. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see her hopping in there a little bit. Nia Reed, another one. If they would have started, if they were to start tonight like they ended the last game, we would see Hilly, we would see Nia Reed, we would see Ellison Mayfield, we'd see all the people, Maggie Cartwright. I mean, what Bird and staff have shown is that they can literally choose anyone, and they do it in a very intentional, purposeful. I can't talk today. Maybe I should have had that Red Bull. Intentional, purposeful, process. Okay, so they okay, if we need termination, this is who we're going in. If we need passing, this is who we're going in. If we need a block, this is what we're going to do. And then they prioritize it. So if they do have to make subs, they're very educated on who they're putting in and why. Very methodical, and I think that's key for the Supernovas in deciding who to put in and when to put them in. So I think we could see Paige Briggs tonight to come in and serve. We could see Sydney to come in to set. Nadi shocked me in the last game against Atlanta. All 5'7" of her, and she's blocking Leah Edmond. She's blocking Linehan. She's blocking Member Monet. And we talked to her after the game, and she's like, it's all about timing. And she has the best timing. So I think we could see any of them. Mayfield, Reed, Cartwright. Everybody's on the table tonight.
Who do you think is in that starting lineup, Coach?
I may have talked to a bird.
A little bird told you?
Little bird told me that she's going with Brooke Nunaviller and Betty Dela Cruz at the outside. She's going to have Tori Dixon and Christina Vuchkova in the middle. Jess Landsman at opposite Kendall White at libero in blue tonight. And Nadi Valentin Anderson setting.
You're going to give that coach's fashion report here now. You want to get that one out of the way?
Yeah, I mean, I can do that because Atlanta's in long sleeves, and we haven't seen a lot of long sleeves. So they're in a red long sleeve with a little undertone pattern going on with black spandex. Supernovas in the white sleeveless jerseys fade to pink. So it goes from white to blue to purple to pink.
Are you team sleeveless or long sleeve?
I like sleeves.
Why? Talk to me.
Slide easier on the ground. Oh, that's interesting to know. So Rico has magic information. The vibe when they're wearing red are 2 and 2. Who
and
keeps track of that?
Supernovas in the white?
Do they have the Supernovas in white?
Yeah. Well, look, at least they told us.
We're going to say the Supernovas are 4 and 1 in white. Because that's what I'm feeling tonight.
Nobody's going to stop us. You think this is okay? So we set the table last week, right? We said, okay, here's how we think this is going to play out. How do you think this plays out? Is this I'm not going to ask you to tell me who wins, but is this a sweep? Is this
this is where you tell me what you think, and then I plan on being here all night long.
Yeah, no. My thought is this. No, look, I'm not going to. Yeah, Rico's telling me that I have to call for 5 cents so that it is not 5 cents. Yeah, I said 5 cents before, but I'm not.
You said 5, and then it went 5.
Yeah, but
the other time he said 5 and it went 3.
Well, no, this one feels like a 3-1 Supernovas night to me. This is just watching them move right before the match. This is the vibe that's in play for Atlanta, and then the groove, because there is a whole nother groove that's happening for the Supernovas. And I think as the crowd forms in, that's where it goes from. I think this crowd will steal a set and push it up. So I think 4 sets, Omaha wins it 3-1. That's just my take on it. Keys to the match, keys for success for the Supernovas.
Got to win the serve and pass battle. Got to win the first contact battle. Be aggressive with serve. Get those passes in the box so that we can run our middles, get our pins one-on-ones. That's going to be number one. We have to manage their pins. Lazareva and Edmonds are both, they're premier players. Like, if you are here tonight or coming tonight, just watch those two play and you're going to be impressed. And then the third and final one is they've got to find a way. We have to find a way to have that grind that we have on the road and have it at home. Like that gritty, resilient, relentless defense where sometimes it's ugly, but we're like, we will not be denied. So I think if they can do those three things, there's going to be good things that happen, and maybe another 3-0. I think there's a lot on the line tonight for both teams. So it'll be a matter of who can handle the pressure better. Who can handle this big moment tonight better?
Who in your mind is the super in the Supernovas? Who's the player that steps up and makes the plays that nobody else is going to make tonight?
God, I don't like picking one because I feel like and I've said this a million times,
You
but
only get one.
I love this team. And sometimes it's the bench that does it, right? They give them the energy. I always think the setter is kind of the initiator. I think the libero can be an initiator. If I'm Atlanta, you need to manage Betty's serve. But I don't know who you try to stop, because you stop one and there's somebody else that can pick it up. Like, we're so balanced, like even on points. We're balanced on points. We're balanced on kills. If Betty has a Betty night, I think the Supernovas can get this done. I'm going to put it on Betty tonight.
I am going to set the table with Brooke Nuneviller again. I just think she's playing at such a high level and is asked to do things that she's so exceptional at. I think she shows out tonight. I think it's a great opportunity. Folks have her name on their mouth now. Let's watch her do her thing. And, of course, with the setters doing what they do, I think it's going to be a fantastic night. Again, jump over to the Ticket app. Download it if you haven't. Supernovas app. Jump to the ticketfm.com or jump over to supernovas.com, and you can track us all the way through and then come back and meet us at the post-match. We'll call it a post-match celebration here on the Supernovas Radio Network. I'm DP. Coach Renee Saunders. We're about to bring it to you from Omaha, Nebraska. Should be a good one. CHI Health Center, buckle up. Pro Volleyball Federation action from Omaha, Nebraska.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. The last few years have been wild, but we've been here for you through all the ups and downs, and we'll be here for you when you need us the most, for all your travels and for your day-to-day driving. With winter conditions causing problems all over town, the last thing anyone needs this year is constant car troubles. Let us help you drive in peace and make sure you drive to work and to winter destinations safe. A1 Automotive, 11th and L Street downtown, always